Hey Lorelai, so let's look at 3031 first. So we're using the slope-intercept form. M is the letter that they use to represent whatever number is in front of the x. M means slope. So the slope is always going to be this number that's right in front of the x. And this number here, B, it's the letter that we use to represent where the line crosses the y-axis. So we just find that number on the y-axis, we put a dot there, and then we use whatever the number m is to move from point to point. That creates the angle of our line. So let's illustrate that over here. What is the slope in this equation? The number in front of x, which is a fraction, 1/2. So that's it. It's that easy. Whenever it asks for slope, you just look here and find the number in front of the x. And to graph that, we're going to find this number first, +3, on the up and down axis, the y-axis. We put our little number, our dot there, and it's always y over x. So the movement of y over the movement of x. So that means that with this fraction, y is going to move one space. The sign of the number tells you the direction that it moves. So if it's a positive number, it's going to move up. If it's a negative number, it's going to move down. So this is a +1, so it's going to move up 1. The bottom on the number, the number on the bottom always moves to the right because the denominator is always positive, and the positive side of the x-axis is to the right. So this number always goes to the right, okay? So up 1, to the right 2. So up 1, to the right 2. Up 1, to the right 2. You only need 3 points to draw a straight line. We go from point to point to point. Put our little arrows on the end. It's very important you put the arrows on the end because the arrows mean the line goes on indefinitely, because it does. All right, so that is how you would graph a line. It's really that easy. You just need these two numbers, where it crosses and how the point moves. This tells you the angle, right? Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Not so hard. You can do this. The slope here is just the number 3. We're going to graph this, but we don't have a fraction, so what do? How do we turn any whole number into a fraction? We do the same thing to find slope. We put it over 1. So this is a +3, so it's going to move up 3 and over 1. All right, so we start at the +7 right here. Up 3 over 1. We can't make another point. So what do? We go in the opposite direction. So now we're going to go down 3 and to the left 1. So down 3 to the left 1. Notice how they're all in a straight line. If they're all in a straight line, you know you did it correctly, right? You just move in the opposite direction to continue the line if you need to go backwards because you run out of space. So we're going to draw this line here. Just like that. The slope here is the number in front of the x, which is a fraction. So 2 over 3. And that's correct. And now we're going to graph. All right, so what we're going to do to graph this, we're just going to take this number right here, this -2. We're going to put a dot there on the -2. And then we're going to look at our slope. So this is a negative, so it means it's down 2 and over to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. So down 2 to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. And there's another one. That's all it is. When we look at these, they're not hard. You just have to understand the components, what the components mean, what the numbers are telling us. All right, so we have one more. What is the slope here? 3 over 7. All right, so now we will check that, and then we'll graph. -5, so we find the -5, and then we have up 3 over 7. So up 1, 2, 3 over 7. Now we can't go another one this way, so we could just draw the line like this, but I like to always do that third point. So this time we're going to use -3, -7, right? So -3, down 3, to the left 7. So you just do the opposite when you can't go to the right any further. You just start back at that first point and then go backwards. And that just means changing the direction for both of them. Instead of up, you go down. Instead of left, right, you go left. All right, so now lesson 31 is all about graphing in the standard form. And all you have to do is just solve the standard form for y. Take it and solve for y, put it into this format, knowing everything that you already know about how to solve for a variable. And that will give you your slope and it will give you your plus b. So let's look at the first one. We've got x minus y is equal to 4. So I know there's an invisible 1 in front of both of these, right? So I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. That gives me -1y is equal to -1x plus 4, because that's a positive 4. We know we want y by itself to be positive, so we're going to divide everything by -1. So we end up with y is equal to -1 over -1 is a positive 1. So that's 1x. A positive divided by negative is a negative. So we turn this into a fraction. So we have 1 over 1 at the -4. So -4, and then we're going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And there's our line, just like that. Right? All right, next problem. Same thing. We're going to solve it for y. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, -2x minus 2x. That gives me 3y is equal to -2x plus 12. Divide everything by 3. That gives me y is equal to -2 over 3x plus 4. So I start at the positive 4, and I'm going to go down 2 to the right 3. So down 2 to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. Draw my line through that. And there's your line. Easy peasy. We're going to graph this one the same way by solving for y. Don't get confused though. Make sure you know which one is which. So here the x is second. So we're just going to subtract the x term. That gives us 2y is equal to -4x minus 16. Divide everything by 2. Y is equal to -2x minus 8. So we find the -8. We turn this into a fraction by putting it over 1. So we're going to go down 2 over 1. So down 2 over 1 is here. We can't do another point on the graph, so we're going to go backwards. We're going to go up 2 to the left 1. And there's our line. And that's it. That's all we can do. All right, easy peasy. Next one. Same thing. We're going to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. -6y is equal to -2x plus 18. Divide everything by -6. So that gives me y is equal to -2 divided by -6. Negative by negative, it's a positive. And I can reduce that to 1 over 3x. Positive 18 divided by -6 is going to be a -3. So we go to the -3, and then we go up 1 to the right 3. So up 1 to the right 3, up 1 to the right 3. And there's our line. Just like that. Last one. do the same thing. We've got negative 6x plus, oops, undo that, minus 3y is equal to 24. I'm going to add 6x to both sides. Negative 3y is equal to 6x plus 24. Divide everything by negative 3. Y is equal to negative 2 minus 8. Negative 2x minus 8. Sorry about that. Because 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. So we're going to start at the negative 8. And we turn this into a fraction by putting it over 1. So we go down 2 over 1. I can't do any more that way, so I'm going to go in the reverse. So I'm going to go up 2 to the left 1. That continues that straight line. You can just see visually it's a straight line. And that is your answer. And there you go. And that's all of 3031. So let's look at 3233. All right, so in 32, we're learning how to write the equation in slope-intercept form. And I basically showed you how to do that in the previous lesson 31. Let's look at these over here. This first equation of the line, we're going to write that equation of the line in below graph in slope-intercept form. So what do we need for slope-intercept form? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So let's copy this image over to the drawing program that I have. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. So the first thing you need to do is we need to remember what is slope-intercept form. So that's going to be y is equal to mx plus b. B is where it crosses the y. If I can actually write, that'd be great. Crosses the y-axis. So that's what we're looking for here, the sign and the number. And then this is the slope. And that tells us the y movement over the x movement. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So what we have to do is we have to find first, where does it cross the y-axis? And that's right here at the -4. Now we have to find another point. So what I do is I look for my intersecting lines. Where does this line cross the grid lines that intersect? Right here. There's one right there. There's one right there. Where these gray lines intersect, where the red line crosses where those lines intersect is a point. And that point is going to illustrate the angle or the slope of the line. So what I have to do is just count. I'm going to go up 1 and then over 1. So it's going to be 1 over 1. This is the y and this is the x. So up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. So 1 over 1, which we know is just 1. We also know when we write 1 in front of a number, and the number is -4 here where it crosses. When we write this in front of a number, it goes away. It's invisible. So we would really write y is equal to x minus 4. That would be your answer. So let's test it. Y is equal to x minus 4. And that's correct. So we're going to look at writing the equation of the line here. Same thing. Let's copy this. So we can make it big enough to where we can see. So again, we are going to look at what's our form of the line. We need to find the m and we need to find the b, right? So where does it cross the y-axis? +3. So that goes here. And now we need to find another place where it crosses intersecting lines. And that's not until we get right here. Because it doesn't intersect you got to have 3 lines, the red line and 2 gray lines that intersect. So here and here and here. So now we just count to find our slope. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to go down 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go to the right 5. So down 3, that's a -3, to the right 5. This is our equation in the line. Y equals -3/5x plus 3. So that's what I'm going to write up here. Y equals -3/5x plus 3. And that's correct. Same thing here. Only this time we're not going to go and figure it out. I'm just going to type it in here. Y is equal to mx plus b. And now I'm going to figure out what I'm doing. So first I need to find out, where's it crossing? That's a +3, so the b gets replaced with a 3. +3 is what goes here, so that's what goes here. So now I need to find my slope. So all I need to do is find a previous point, because it's not going forward, it's going backward. So I'm going to find a previous point and figure out what the movement is. So it looks like it's going up 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. So +3 up and then over 2. So this is going to be a fraction. 3/2. And then I can type the rest of that, x plus 3. And I'm just going to take the rest of this out. All right, so that should be correct. And it is. Y equals 3/2x plus 3. All right, so here we're going to do the same thing. So it's crossing at the -6. And it's crossing again at the -3, -1. It looks like, and it's crossing again here, my slope is going to be down 3 spaces and over 1. -3/1 is -3. So y is equal to -3x, and then where it's crossing the y-axis is the -6. And that should be correct, and it is. Number 6, same thing. We're going to look and find our slope first. Y is equal to our slope. All right, so it starts here and it crosses again here. Well, that's just 1 and 1. So we have a slope of 1. We know when we have a slope of 1, it's invisible. Excuse me. So that's got a 1 right there, an invisible 1. And the line where it crosses, or the point where it crosses the y-axis, is -3. So -3. All right, and that's all for lesson 32. Now we're going to write equations in point-slope form. So in point-slope form, the linear equation is written like this. You write y minus the y coordinate, and the slope of the line, it's equal to the slope of the line times x minus the x coordinate. So if you're given more than one point, we first find the slope, and we can use any of the given points to write the equation. All right, so let's look. We're going to write the equation of the line that passes through. So first of all, let me copy this over so we can actually write this where we can make some notes. So our form, let's remember our form, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So the only thing we really have to find is the slope, and it actually tells us what the slope is here, 4. So that means we could put 4 in for m. M is the slope. And now we have y minus, the y value is 3, and then we have the slope times the x minus the x value is 2. That's how we would write that out. So y minus 3 equals 4 times x minus 2. So we'll just go over here and type that in. So y minus 3 is equal to 4 times x minus 2. And when we get some practice, you won't even have to make notes. You'll just be able to put all of that in, right? Notice we put the 4 for the slope, we put the y with the y, and we put the 2 with the x. We put the y value of 3 with y, and the x value of 2 with the x. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And that's correct. So same thing here. So we have y minus the y value. The y value is 2. And that's going to be equal to the slope. Slope of 5. So 5 times x minus the x value, which is 1. And that would be the answer. And that would be correct. So the next one. Same exact process. Why? The only thing is, you see here we have a negative x. When we get to that subtraction, that will affect that. We have a positive 4. Y minus 4 is equal to, the slope is 1/2. So we get a fraction, 1 over 2. Now we do parenthesis, x. And we have a negative 3. So minus a negative 3, that's going to be plus 3. Right? It's always the opposite symbol of what is in here because it's subtraction. Y minus is always the opposite. So we have a minus 4 here, the opposite of a positive 4. And we would have x minus negative 3. The opposite of a negative 3 is a positive 3. And so that would be correct. 2 more. These are getting easier, or they should be getting easier for you. So y minus, what is the y value? It's a positive 3, is equal to the slope. And the slope we are given is 3 over 7. So 3 over 7. And then that's going to be times x minus the x value is a negative 2. So minus the negative 2 is a positive 2. And that is the solution for that one. You see how easy these are? Last one, easy peasy. So y minus the y value is 5. You can see that here, the y value is 5. And that's going to be equal to the slope. Slope is a negative 1/4. So we're going to say negative fraction 1 over 4. And that's going to be times x minus, and our x value is actually negative. So instead of minus, we're going to say plus 6 because a negative minus a negative is a positive, right? Negative negative is a positive. And that's going to be our solution for the last one. And that's it. We're done. Those were not hard. It's just a little complex in understanding the different forms. So this is point slope form. We know the y-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And we know the standard form is ax plus bx equals c. So we're just looking at how those numbers relate to how we would graph it on the page. And the way we graph it on the page is always putting it back into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right, that's all we have. If you have any other questions, you need any other lessons, please message me. Let me know. I'm probably not going to check Jupyter every day, but I'll try to check it at least once a week and then send you what you need. All right, that's all I've got for now. And you've already got an A. I don't know if you checked your grades or not, but you already have an A with the work that you've already turned in. So it's up to you whether you do any more or not. All right, or I should say it's up to your mom. It's up to your mom. So ask her what she wants you to do. All right, that's all I have for now, and I'll see you in the next one.